Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink with video 1 of 2 for tonight because it's Super Saturday and that means there are 2 Simon Says STAMPtember collaborations. So this one is the Avery Elle Holiday Wishes frame stamp set. And I have some Strathmore watercolor paper in my MISTI and I'm lining up this big frame image onto it. I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool and then I'm going to ink up the stamp with Clair embossing ink and I'm going to stamp it a couple times to make sure I get a good stamped impression because this is a pretty large stamp. There's a fair bit of detail to it. So I'll ink it up twice, stamp it twice, and then I'm going to coat this with Simon's gold embossing powder because you can't not have gold, especially when it's for like holiday cards, for anything. Oh, honestly, you guys know me. I like the gold. I like gold embellishments and gold embossing powder and just all things gold. So anyway, coated the image with that embossing powder, and then I'm going to melt this with my heat tool. Always tilting it back and forth in the light to make sure there's no dull grainy areas, because then that means those are areas that haven't been melted. So I'm always tilting it back and forth, moving it around, making sure I get all the spots, get everything melted, and then it's good to go. So once this is all melted, I am going to use my Karin Brushmarker Pros again. I used them on a previous video just a week ago, not that long ago. My sense of time is gone. But anyway, I had watched a video by Nina Marie Trapani, who does, like, she designs a bunch of stamps for Simon Says Stamp and products and things, and she does videos and all that stuff. And I love her cards, and I watch her videos every chance I get. And she was using these markers, and she was using it with this Strathmore watercolor paper, and I was like, man, like, her markers are moving so nicely on this paper. And I went through my stash and I shockingly did not have this watercolor paper. So I ordered some because it's very cheap, comparable, like when you compare it to like the, you know, the really good quality stuff that we rave about. This stuff is very affordable. So I got a pack. Yeah, this is a great one. I recommend this one if you have trouble with your Karin Brushmarker Pros because they are finicky depending on the paper you're using. If you find that, you know, the watercolor paper you're using and you colored like this directly with the marker directly onto the paper and it doesn't want to move, like it just soaks in and you can't get it to move, it's the paper, it's not the markers. They're just, again, they play funny with different papers. So this stuff works great with them. I'm really happy, and I have to now like keep note of this because I will use these markers more often. A way around that, and like I showed in my other video, was just scribbling the markers onto a little palette or, you know, a non-porous surface and then picking it up with a water brush or a paintbrush and painting that way. That works great too. And that also helps, you know, so you don't have to fiddle and like find the right paper, that sort of a thing. But this is definitely one paper that is, yeah, super affordable. Works great with these, so I'm really happy because I had said in the other video, I was like, I need to use these markers more. I spend a lot of money on them and they're fabulous, like the color and layering the colors. I'm sorry I don't have the specific colors used. I was like kind of grabbing them at random. I've got my little swatches. I did a swatch video when I first got these, like it's on my channel somewhere, but I was just grabbing colors and I you know, layered a couple different greens together on the leaves and a couple different other greens. I know with these berries, I did burgundy and lilac. I like layered the purple on top, and oh, I love. So yeah, really, I love these. They're great markers. They're just, yeah, it's just getting the right paper combo with them, you know. But yeah, I colored in this whole image. I've obviously super sped this up in editing, but it still didn't take very long. I like how it's more leaves than anything else too, which made it even simpler to color. Because when it comes to like Christmas cards, holiday cards, if I want to make several yada yada yada, I don't want to have to spend, you know, a million years on a card. Sometimes I will. But anywho, I finished coloring this and then I looked at it for a minute or two and I was like, should I? Shouldn't I? Of course I'm going to add splatter. Like, I can't not. It's fine without, but you guys know me. I need to add splatter. So I could have added gold splatter. That would have looked beautiful too. I'm just thinking of that now. I'm like, oh man. But I just use my perfect pearl powder. I'm literally just putting it on the plastic. I've shown that to you. I'll put it like right on my work surface. I don't care. But I just mixed it with a little bit of water, picked it up with my paintbrush, splattered it all over the background. It's great, you know, because it's still somewhat subtle, but it catches the light and it's pretty. And I'll show that at the end of the video. So I let that completely dry. I die cut it with one of Simon's basic rectangle wafer dies. And then I cut a piece of lipstick red cardstock to mat this. I wanted to pull out the sort of really bright red I used on the little candy canes in that image. So Simon's lipstick red is like bright red. If you want a deep red, go with Schoolhouse Red. It's very, very like deep red. And then the lipstick red is like bright, like almost like orangey red, but not orange, if that makes sense. So anyway, did that. The sentiment from the same little stamp set, I just heat embossed onto a piece of black cardstock with gold embossing powder. And then I trimmed it down with my paper trimmer, and I'm going to pop that right into the center here with a bit of Simon's Big Mama foam tape, just to give it that little bit of dimension that I love. And then my card base is, no surprise, Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. So I had cut this down to 8.5 by 5.5, scoring it at 4 1/4. So this will be a A2 sized card, so 4 1/4 by 5.5. And I'm going to put the card base back into my MISTI, and I'm going to line up that frame image again, and I'm going to stamp that with Simon's khaki ink. Again, talk about this it's like I just kind of alternate videos. Last time it was cobblestone ink. This time it's khaki. Khaki and cobblestone, my two go-tos for Neenah Desert Storm cardstock. Just must-haves, in my opinion. So I stamped the image in that, and then I took another little sentiment from the set, centered that, and that I'm just going to stamp in black ink. So the outside of the card will say Merry Christmas. The inside will say Happy Holidays. We're good to go. I popped more Big Mama foam tape on the back of the main panel before popping it onto my card. And then, of course, I'm going to add a little bit of bling. I had to because I got a little smear on the card front. That's where bling comes in handy, because just cover it up. Like, don't worry about it. It's not ruined. You know, bling fixes everything. Or add more splatter. Whatever floats your boat, you know. So I took some Studio Katia Carmine crystals, because same thing. They were that like really bright red. And adhered those into place with little dabs of craft tacky glue. And once those were adhered, this card is complete. So this stamp set, like all the other STAMPtember collaborations, limited edition, one and done, etc. I'll have a link to the set, as well as all the other supplies I use in the description box below the video, as well as a link to my blog post. So you can check that all out below if you are interested. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing, thumbs upping, commenting, all the good things. I very much appreciate you all, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye!